Okay, we're just going to make a simple coil here. It's going to go on this Freak Show mod, this Freak Show atomizer. And I'm going to be using a 964, using a, where did it go? 964 drill bit. And I'm going to use 8 wraps of 28 gauge Canthal. So I'm going to guess about 8 inches, which will be lots. So it's easier to work with this way. A little snip. And I'm just going to run this wire over the drill bit just to straighten it a little bit. There. Now this camera's got auto close-up, so it's hard to do, like, show you much of anything. So I'm just going to put that wire alongside of the threads on the drill, leaving about ½ inch or so. Bend the wire down to my finger, wrap it up over my thumb, and around to the top. And that's one wrap there. You keep this fairly close. That's 2 wraps, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to squish this together. The coil's nice and uniform. And I'm going to go back to my first coil, my first wrap, and lift up the end of the wire that I had attached or pinned down to start with. Just like so. Now I got this other piece here. You give it a nice little tug to snug those coils. Bend it down about another halfway, and when it comes back up, it's going to be pretty much even with that first wire. So I'm going to bend that down with my fingernail, bend it back across, and straighten it out a little bit. You want to very carefully just squeeze your coils a little bit. You want them to be fairly evenly spaced as much as possible. And we'll work on that a little bit more later. Now, see here, let's set this coil down. If you see here, you've got a little slot. That's where your air goes in, and corresponding is a slot here that goes in over your juice chamber. And there's 2 of those, one on each side. So what you want to do is you want to put your new coil over your positive and your negative leads. It doesn't really matter which goes first. Just make sure it goes in the hole. I've got wired hands, so it's like trying to drive in a thumbtack with a sledgehammer. Now I'm going to leave this outside lead, the negative lead, just a little bit long. And I'm going to tighten it down. Now the reason I left it long is because I want to bend that lead so that it's kind of centered over both the air hole and the juice flow, the juice container, the juice space. And I'll bend that down a little bit closer to the post. The negative looks like it's in pretty good shape, so I'll tighten that down. Just inspecting the coil. Give it a little bit of a squeeze. And take the clippers, they keep the knickknacks, odds and ends and stuff. The junk hardware, right next to the balloons. Tighten that onto my mod. And I've got this set up to 40, so I'm going to bring this all the way back down. Right now this is coming at, looks like 2.07 ohms. And I'll take this all the way down to 10 watts. And I'm going to start it from here. And I'm just going to gently pulse that wire a little bit. Take it up to 15. There. Now what we want is we want that wire to be heating from the inside out. And now we've heated it a little bit, it's going to be a lot softer. So it'll be a lot less springy. So I'm going to gently squeeze it together a little bit. And we'll bring it up to 20. There we go. Now that's coming right in quite nicely. And it's heating up. Doesn't seem to be any hot spots on the legs. And it's looking at 2.5 ohms. Now we need to get some wick. And what I'm using is actually cotton bacon. It's a medical grade cotton. It's actually more pure than the Japanese cotton a lot of people seem to like to use. So we have a fairly large piece right here. But we're going to separate this. Put the big part aside. Let's see, this is nice and floppy, no seeds, no impurities in it. And what you're going to do, you're going to take it in your hand and roll it. Just gently roll it. It's going to stay nice and floppy. Roll it in one direction, seems to work better. take a little bit of that off because it looks like it might be a little bit too thick. So I'm going to take about a third of that away and just separate it. Put that aside for later use and just re-roll it. Keep it nice and fluffy. It's a shitty camera. Now we got it rolled. We're going to take one end and we're going to twist it to compress the cotton. To a nice little point. Thread it through the wick. And I'm going to pull gently on this end to stretch out the fibers a bit while I'm feeding it, pulling it through the other end. There we go. That's fine. Fluff up my cotton some. There's the side of the tank here. Give that a little snip. And the same on the other side. Just a little bit past the edge of the atomizer. And you have another little piece left over you can put aside for later. Now on the wick side, or on the negative side, where your negative post is, remember we wired it onto this post here, so what we're doing is going to tuck this down underneath the coil. And move it back a bit from the airflow chamber. And this one here, we're going to do the same, but we're going to go in just behind the coil a little bit, just kind of between these two posts just a little bit, and we're going to make sure our airflow is clean. That's where we're going to get our air from. Now for this I'm going to use Vapor Max key lime. I don't really like it, so I'm going to use it on these. I don't care if I waste much of it or not. Yeah, I find it a little bit tart. I'm sour enough as it is. And just start at your coil. Give it a nice little wet, a little soak down. And the ends. Dab there. Yeah, you put a little bit of juice in the back, like. So remember, we've got that sitting down there. That cotton was sitting down inside the juice well. Or it was next to the post, which is leading into the juice well. So that should draw from the negative side. Should draw from here on the negative, and then from this side on the between the other negative and the positive. Put the cap back on, line up your air holes. Okay, let's get this back to normal view and have a go.